Hi and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a summer transfer move to Arsenal. Back in the studio today. Yesterday, it was nice to be outside the Emirates, I'll tell you, and met so many people down there as well. So it was great to catch up with you all. Do you know, or do you realise that Arsenal have spent £75 million so far in the transfer market? That's a lot more than most clubs have actually spent, right? So because there was a lot of people down there saying to me, we ain't spent nothing. I was like, hold on, wait, we have 50 million on Ben White, 17 odd million on Sambi Lokonga, Nuno Tavares, 75 million pounds we've actually spent so far. So it's quite a lot of money we've spent so far, but we all know there's more to be spent. More money needs to go out on players. Me and James did a excellent call-in show last night on News Daily. Great show, magnificent response, where we were talking about the fact that there's a lot of talk that Stan Kroenke is going to give Arteta another 100 million odd to spend. That's the rumor. What is he going to spend it on? We know he's obviously going to recoup or try and recoup back a lot of money, but he might have a lot of difficulty recouping back some of that money. But what is he going to spend the additional 100 million pounds on? Or will he spend? That's what we're going to find out over the next few weeks. We're getting linked to a player today called Matthew Hopp. He's a USA international striker, literally just won the Gold Cup, the CONCACAF Gold Cup with the USA, where they beat Mexico in the final. He did actually score in a game against Jamaica. He's only young. He's being compared, of course, to Christian Pulisic, because Pulisic broke onto the scene very young as well for the USA. But he's only young, 20 years of age. They went with a pretty young team, actually, the USA, for the Gold Cup. Didn't use some of their even bigger stars that they have, like Christian Pulisic. He wasn't even there. But Matthew Hopp made a big impression on the tournament, and a lot of people were raving about him. He plays for Schalke in the Bundesliga. Now, last season for Schalke, he scored 6 goals, including a hat-trick in one game. Didn't exactly light it up, you could say, but wasn't a super-duper regular for the team. But he's still only 20, and he's being considered by many people to be the next big thing to come out of American football, and is available for only £4 million. That's nothing. Of course, Schalke got relegated out of the Bundesliga. They had a horrific season, hence why Kolasinac came back after that loan. But he is being touted today, and it was yesterday as well, as a possible signing for Arsenal. Quite a lot of clubs in the Premier League looking at him, but £4 million, it would be a snip, although we got a lot of other type of players, Eddie Nketiah and guys like that, who've got great records and are great young players as well. But Arsenal being linked with him today. The links with Tammy Abraham continue. Tammy Abraham, of course, who scored against us. It's funny that he's pictured there with Hector Bellerin. It was Hector Bellerin who gave him the assist, just laid it for him on a plate. But yeah, he scored against us, of course, in that game the other day, the Mind Series friendly, where Chelsea beat Arsenal 2-1. And he's still being spoken about as a player of interest for Arsenal. Going to cost around about 35 to 40 million pounds. Aston Villa are keen on him as well, and they might have a lot of money coming in soon because of the Grealish thing. But he is still being linked with Arsenal today. And every time I ask people, would you take Tammy Abraham? It's a very mixed response. There's some people who are like, yeah, you know what, actually, I think he'd be decent. A lot more people sort of giving him ratings after he scored that goal against us. But then there's other people saying, well, he's okay. He's nothing against him. He's not a bad player, but is he that sort of player that you think, wow? And we want to see a couple of those players come in as well this season. One of those wow players is James Maddison, heavily linked with a move to Arsenal ever since AFC Bell on Twitter tweeted out that Arsenal were interested in him. It's been in a bit of a frenzy. AFC Bell, of course, is the one who got the Thomas Partey thing right last season when nobody was suspecting that. There is an interest from Arsenal in James Maddison, but do Leicester want to sell him? There's been rumours that they will let him go for around about £70 million has been the most recent rumour. Brendan Rodgers was asked about this as they've been doing their friendlies as well, and he said that they are not looking, well, he didn't say James Maddison specifically, but he said they're not looking to sell any of their big players. There's 2 players specifically being linked with a move away, and James Maddison is one of them. Tielemans is the other. Those 2 are the ones that, you know, the big clubs are hovering around. But Brendan Rodgers coming out and saying that none of our big players are going to be sold this summer, and that he's also been told by the owners that, listen, you don't need to sell any of these players this summer, is what he said. Now, we know that, you know, Leicester have said this before in the past and still ended up selling Harry Maguire. I remember at the time when Maguire was first getting linked with Manchester United, it was like, we're not selling Maguire, we're not looking to sell him. Then they softened. They did take the money in the end. They've got a history of, if the money's right, they will sell the player. As I said, he was quite adamant saying he's not going to be sold. But for me personally, I wouldn't look on this and say that's set in stone. I think a lot of things could still happen between now and the end of the transfer window. I think one thing is for definite. It's going to take a huge offer to get him away from Leicester. He wants to come, is what a lot of the rumors out there are saying. People that apparently have spoken to him have said that he would love to come to Arsenal, but it will take a big offer to get him away from Leicester because they don't have to sell. Same with Lautaro Martinez. If we are to get a player of this caliber, it's going to take a huge offer. It was interesting that it was discovered yesterday that Inter Milan actually had a release clause that expired last month. That release clause was for 111 million euros, which equates to be about 95 million pounds. That expired last month. Nobody went for that. But still, even with that expiring, we know that to get a player like Lautaro Martinez, you are talking about 70 million pounds at least to get that done. Are Arsenal going to be ambitious enough to get that done? It'll be difficult, you know, because a lot of players, I think the only way it's possible is if Arsenal know that there's a lot of players that they're going to be able to get rid of to be able to facilitate that move to get, you know, Lautaro Martinez over the line. They've inquired about him. That's a definite. You know, it's not idle talk. They've inquired about him. They're interested in him. But do they have the money? Mr. Kroenke, the 100 million that you're supposedly putting forward, is that real? You know, and which players would need to be sold? A lot of players still that need to be sold. I was thinking about it yesterday. I was going, what's going on with Lucas Torreira? We haven't heard nothing about him. You know, I haven't seen him in any of the friendlies. I know he was playing in the Copa America, but he didn't go right till the end. What's happened to Lucas Torreira? And, you know, obviously he's going to have to be a guy that's going to have to be moved on. And also, you know, he paid over 25 million pounds for him. They're going to want to get back as much as that as they possibly can. If not, then they need to start assimilating him into the team, you know, and playing him. So that's an interesting one. Another player who could raise a lot of funds is Joe Willock. But do Arsenal want to sell him? We heard Mikel Arteta saying that he doesn't want to sell him. He wants to keep him. And maybe that's starting to look true because we've seen yesterday rumors that Newcastle are looking at Aaron Ramsey now, with a hope of trying to bring Aaron Ramsey, and that must be probably a loan to get him to Newcastle. Obviously, realizing that they're having real difficulties in trying to get Joe Willock in on loan from Arsenal. So to raise that money to get a Lautaro Martinez or to get a Odegaard over the line or a James Maddison, gonna have to let go some players. I think I'm looking at it right now and I'm thinking it's looking to me like Arsenal are prioritizing an attacking midfielder, creative attacking midfielder, maybe an Odegaard or a Maddison, that type of player. If they're keeping Xhaka, maybe they're not going to bring in another deep-lying defensive midfielder. They've got Xhaka, they've got Sambi Lokonga, they've got, of course, Thomas Partey, and at the moment, and then he's still there. That's 4, right? And remember, we've got no football, Champions League or Europa League football. Right. If you look at the sort of other midfield players. If you keep a Willock, he comes in, I guess, for where Ceballos was playing, right? So he would take over that Ceballos type role. You've got Smith Rowe, Saka, you know, it's that creative midfielder, I think, what they're looking at. And then I think the possibility of a striker with Lacazette going. I think they would like to get rid of Lacazette, get him off the wage bill, got 1 year left. So maybe a possibility of a Lautaro Martinez, or would it be a Matthew Hop, right? At 4 million, right? And then I think a goalkeeper is a definite priority. You know, even at the moment, I'm looking at Leno. I know it was only a friendly, but he didn't exactly do that great at the weekend. You could see some little bits where Arteta was having a go at him for the way he was playing the ball out and stuff like that. Goalkeeper as well is going to be another. So I think those are the, and you're probably thinking, Robbie, you haven't mentioned right back. For some reason, I feel he's going to stick with either like a Cedric Chambers. He might just stick with that. I don't know. I've just got that feeling. You know, this is just my feeling. So, but we have to wait and see how it all pans out. But certainly there's more business to be done and lots of players to go as well at Arsenal. Thanks for watching the show today. Don't forget you can check out AFTV News Daily tonight. And what a great show that is starting to be every night. So many of you get involved. It's a real chance for you guys to have your say on transfers and general news. And of course, we're gearing up for the new season. It's going to be exciting next season on AFTV. We're going to be back at the grounds as well as still doing our watch-alongs. We're going to be all over every single game. I'll tell you, the coverage that we're going to give you in and around games and at games is going to be like we've never done before. Absolutely brilliant. So really, really looking forward to that. We've got a great team around it now as well. And it's going to be a chance for you guys, wherever you are, whether you are in the UK, wherever you are in the world, if you ain't able to get to the game, we're going to bring you closer to the game. So look out for that. Thanks for watching the show. Don't forget to subscribe here to AFTV and like this video, and I will see you tomorrow.